What is up, Obscure Mic people? This is going to be a two-parter, weird video. AVerMedia sent me over their live stream arm. And this just may end up being my favorite boom arm. Boom arm! The Fifine is sitting over on my desk, and I did a review of that not that long ago. That was a really awesome boom arm, and it fits my desk perfectly, but I do have a very wide desk. Wide. And I think we can incorporate this into the mix. I've got ideas of what I want to do with it. But we're going to take a look at the live streamer arm. And AVerMedia also sent over the live streamer mic 350. The live streamer mic 350. It's a USB microphone, and it has some software with it, which is going to be pretty interesting. Vibe Engine is what it's called. I like that. Vibe Engine. But we're going to use this on the boom arm after we check out the boom arm, because it is very different than any boom arm I've ever used. Let's get into it. All right, so we're going to open the live streamer arm right here on my makeshift coffee table. I have opened this before, if you couldn't tell. Oh, look at that. They didn't even put any freaking foam on it. Oh, wait, no. I opened this before. All right, so we have some pieces. I forgot about some of these pieces. Boom. All right, we've got the tightening mount. I like that it's a three-legged tightening mount. Solid plastic there, solid metal there, solid metal here, and there. That's nice. That's good quality. Very, very, very good quality. So we've got that to put on the desk. The boom arm itself, look how compact that thing comes. Like, that is pretty sweet. You got the AVerMedia logo there. You've got your insertion point to put into the mount. And wow, yeah. I mean, I know I've already played with it a little bit. That's what she said. But we'll get there. Anyways, so then you also have your XLR channel here. You can put your XLR in there, and these essentially go over top and hide your XLR. I don't know if mine came with weird, like I got like some half pieces and some long pieces. It all works out in the end, but it's a little strange. We also get an Allen wrench to tighten some adjustment points in there. Each little hole has the ability to tighten and lock you into a stiffer motion. Ha ha ha. But okay, so the big thing about this boom arm, obviously you can see it opens up to a very nice size. This is fantastically built. The cool thing about this is the mount, the 5/8 thread. You can have it coming forward or sideways or backwards or the other side. It's almost infinitely adjustable, and guess what? We have a tightening turning screw right here. So you don't have to spin a mic around. This, you just tighten the mic in. Everything else really solidly built. This has the potential to be the boom arm, in my opinion. Not to mention, this rotates. So not only do you have the ability to go left, right, up, down, you can rotate it to be an under or an over. Absolutely brilliant. So now we're going to put this on my table, and we're just going to show you the boom arm. We as in me. Going to show you the boom arm in some action before we hook up the live streamer mic 350. So I've got the arm on the table, and there it is. The up motion is super easy. The down, it takes some force. A good bit of force to get it to go down. This also will come forward, up, and of course you can bring it around town. Bring it around town, SpongeBob. Woo! Yeah. I honestly didn't know if that would hit the camera or not. I just assumed it would not. This is functionality. There's our 5/8 threading there that you can do whatever with. Rotate it around. I mean, just whatever you need to do. This is going to be potentially game-changing for one part of my setup over here. I'll show you in a minute. Now, I'm going to show you more in depth the mic here shortly, but for now, I just want to get it on the boom arm, the boom arm, so we can see how this thing's going to rock. This is a pretty sweet yoke mount here. Let's go ahead and screw this on. I'm going to do it with the boom arm threading. That is freaking easy, man. That was super easy. That's cool. That is really cool. This thing is like infinitely adjustable, and that excites me quite a bit. This is where it's at. I'm not even joking. This is absolutely where it's at. I think you can even go way backwards on the arm like that. And then well, this is not the way that goes. This is that style of condenser, but there we go. I can go back away from my mouth with ease, to my mouth with ease. This is the boom arm. In my opinion, this is the boom arm. Absolutely love this thing. That's pretty cool looking. Let's throw an SM7DB on it and see what kind of weight it can hold. Dude, that's so smooth. Now, I know there are heavier mics than the SM7DB and the SM7B for that matter, but for the most part, this is one of the heavier mics you're going to get. King B2 right up there, and I do have one, so we'll see how that goes. Let's go ahead and thread right into the SM7DB here. That was easy yet again. Okay, so the SM7DB by default, weighing it down a little bit. So we are going to want to get the Allen wrench out. And again, this is not something you're going to have to do all the time, but like once you get the right tension on the joints that you want, it's going to be a lot easier. So let's go ahead and raise this up, stick my Allen wrench in. We're going to give that a nice tighten. Not too tight though, because we all know what happens with boom. Maybe a half turn, a little over a half turn, and the SM7DB is good to go. Can raise it pretty easy, but it's not falling. It's not falling. Just not happening. And then you've got that infinite adjustability with this mounting head here. So that was super easy to get it placed where I want, or I can just go a little higher and then tilt the mic. I've got it here. Let's see how the King B2 holds up on the arm. This is the test. Huge thanks to Bronson for getting this thing over to me. Telling you, that's still just the easiest way to throw a mic on an arm, is to just have the tightening thing already up there. Boom, there we go. King B2, good to go. We can drop it a little and it's not going to just fall. I'm putting pressure on it. It's not going anywhere. You can go up a lot easier than down. Down, you need some force. There you go. King B2, this thing weighs like 3 pounds. We have no problem here on the AVerMedia arm. Even if I go this way. Now this way, we're going to need some tightening there. At the joint at the bottom. It's the joint. So we're going to give that a half turn. All right, so we're pretty tight. Get it tight. Get it right. Get it tight. I'm going to go ahead and give this a half turn too. Just a little turn there. Don't need a lot. With a heavy mic on it, it's going to turn the way you want it anyways. King B, good to go. I can come this way. Not going to follow me. Not moving. So I'm going to put this on the far side of my desk, and I'll show you what I'm going to use it with. I am going to use it with this rack unit, which I have the Behringer UV1 on, the Stage Right 1073 classic style preamp, Audio-Technica ATMX351 smart mixer for when I get some drums in here. I've got a Gemini SD recorder that I don't know if it even works. I got it as part of a big sale. And then got a power conditioner and a Gemello wireless thing that's coming up later. But that I'm thinking I'm going to run this to this side of my desk setup here where the AG06 Mark II is at. I think I'm going to mount that boom arm somewhere right here maybe, and it will stretch across and I can swing it over when I do podcasts with when I want my optimal sound. So I think that's what the AVerMedia arm is going to be for. All right, so now we're going to get on to the microphone, the Live Streamer Mic 350, and it does come with some software called Vibe Engine, which is pictured here, talked about here. But let's read you some specs. It's a condenser microphone, cardioid or omnidirectional. It's got two condenser electric capsules, 24-bit 96 kilohertz, max SPL of 120, USB Type-C. So we're going to unbox this. We're going to throw some Vibe Engine in it, on it, for it, around it, and we're going to go. But the Rode NT USB is what I'm using as the test subject mic. So we're going to be able to compare this to that and see how this one stacks up. And yes, we will use the AVerMedia arm, which I have boomed up as we speak. But first things first, let's get to the Streamer Mic 350. We're going to unbox it, even though I kind of already did before. AVerMedia. Really appreciate them reaching out, wanting me to check out some of their stuff. That's my first AVerMedia experience, is this stuff here. But you've got some controls and such things showing you what to do. We've got a quick start guide, aka documentation. A really nice AVerMedia embossed little flap there that goes over the microphone here. Let's go ahead and check out this stuff first. So in this box, we have a bass stand, like a really small bass stand here. And we've got a USB A to C adapter. And then underneath the flap in the box there, flap in the box, you get a USB A to C. And then of course you got that adapter. That's a long one too. That is long enough to go in the boom arm. So good on you there, AVerMedia. And then we of course have the microphone here. It is all metal. Got a nice little polished ring up top and a kaleidoscopish kind of thing going on there. We've got a nice yoke mount with a rotating 5/8 adapter there to put onto your mic stand. That's convenient. All metal tightening knobs for the yoke mount as well. And then we have your controls here. You got your microphone gain up top. Does have a clicky, so I imagine we're going to get a mute out of that or something. We'll find out in a minute. That has a clicky too. This is to go between computer and monitor playback here. So I imagine you can push the dial and go back and forth. Then on the bottom here, we've got a switch between cardioid and omnidirectional, a USB-C port, and a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. All in all, it does feel pretty good. It's not overly weighty. It feels nice enough. So I like the design. I like the yoke mount. I like the way it's kind of Yeti-ish for a stand. But you know, you could wire that up any way you wanted. Mount it up, wire it up, whatever the fuck. Oops. Okay, so now we've got the Streamer Mic 350 on the AVerMedia boom arm. And let me tell you, I still love the boom arm, even though you just heard me say it a few minutes ago. But I am recording this part and the boom arm part a little bit separately. So it's going to be a little different. But so here's the Streamer Mic 350. You've got your microphone volume gain up top with a mute switch. And now I turn the mute off. Low light does get red around the dial there. And then at the bottom, we've got also a press button to toggle back and forth between computer monitoring and headphone monitoring, so you can mix that up. So that's good. And I must say, the microphone actually sounds pretty good too. I'm actually kind of like pleasantly surprised that it sounds pretty good. It's in cardioid mode right now. I'm going to go ahead and turn it to omnidirectional just so you can hear that. Okay, now we're in omnidirectional mode, so it should pick me up no matter where I'm at on the microphone. And I'm just going to continue to go around the microphone so you can hear that I am in omnidirectional mode, and it should still pick me up. Now we're in cardioid, and we'll do the test real quick. So first are going to be the plosives. Let's go. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pineapple pizza. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pineapple pizza. And when you get right on top of the Streamer Mic 350 from AVerMedia, this is what it sounds like when you're directly on top of the Streamer Mic 350 from AVerMedia that runs 159. Boom arms also 159. Pretty solid on both, I think, for the price, because we're going to dive into more about the Streamer Mic 350 in a few minutes, but that's not too much to ask. But, you know, 100, 150 for a mic with effects, with a good build quality, and so far so good. Not saying that this is going to like overrule this or that in the market. I'm just saying 159 seems to be pretty fair so far. Let's do off-axis rejection. Talking into the front of the microphone. Now we're going to go 90 degrees off axis on the microphone, 180 degrees off axis on the microphone, 90 degrees yet again, and then slowly back around to the front of the microphone. Let's get the Vibe Engine software into the mix here. Now, I want to tell you, it did take me some time to figure out without reading the manual, because I went total old school alpha male on the manual and was like, I ain't reading the damn manual. I know what I'm doing. Turns out I did not, but I figured it out. Anyways, you've got a couple options here. Like if you're recording into a computer with this microphone, you can select your audio source as the Streamer Mic 350 for the dry signal, just the way the mic sounds, or you can select the Streamer Mic 350 and in parentheses it says Vibe Engine. Now it took me a minute to figure out that the Vibe Engine drop down was there because I didn't have Vibe Engine open when I started using this. But once you open the Vibe Engine software that you download, it will come up as an option to select as your input, and then you get the effects rolling into your DAW or whatever it is that you're using to record. So let's open Vibe Engine, put it on the screen, go through some of the software, and do a recap. Give it a grade. Give it a BBSAR grade. So let's do that now. Okay, so this is the Vibe Engine interface. We've got clipping shield on automatically. I tend to just leave that on. It's not going to change the sound. I'll turn it off just so you can make sure it doesn't change the sound, but I don't believe it does. But just in case I get loud, let's keep that on. We've got an effects menu here, and we've got sub menus here. So at the top, we've got scenario, noise reduction, voice effect, voice changer. It just shows you what these icons mean. So we can hit scenario. Right now we're in a chat scenario. If I turn that off, this is what it sounds like without being in the chat scenario. Let's go back on. Chat scenario. Podcast scenario now. This is a podcast scenario. Singing scenario, which these are just kind of blanket statement effects, singing. Now the instrument scenario. Now we'll go ahead and turn the scenario off, and we'll go into the noise reduction category. We've got echo cancellation, which I just now enabled, which does make it sound a little different. I'm going to turn that back off, maybe just a tad different. AI noise reduction. I do have a heater on in the background, so we can see if you hear it now, and then I'll click the noise reduction bucket. Yeah, the bucket in a minute. Button. AI noise reduction seems to work pretty well, actually. I heard the heater, and then when I turned this on, it did a pretty good job. So here we go. One more second. Now I'm going to turn it off. I do get a little bit of that heater noise back. So yeah, I would say that works pretty well. It didn't cut off my words or anything like that. So AI noise reduction, solid. Then we got a noise gate we can turn on. I'm going to be quiet so you can hear the heater. And that did do a pretty good job of cutting off the slight hiss from the heater back there. We've got a de-esser. We can turn that on so our S's are probably not as harsh as they were before. Our S's now may be harsher than they were before. Our S's may be harsher than they were before. And now our S's may be less harsh than they were before. Let's go down to the next one, voice effect. Turn our effects on. We've got the pitch, so we can take our voice way down like this, motherfucker. Whoa, I didn't say it. Let's go back to 0. And then we'll go, hey,
mother. Just mother, I'm a baby.
Not a bad word, mother. All right. Echo, we can turn up that echo intensity. We can make like a proggy stoner movie, like, yeah. Feedback, delay, amplification. We can amplify the effect. So let's go down here and amplify that effect. Yes. And then unamplify it. Amplify it. Anyways. Let's go back to 0. And turn the effects off here. Wait, what's this? Reverb effect. Woo! Yeah. Got a compressor. Let's go to effects, turn that off. Is that off now? Okay, reverb. Now reverb's off. Okay, we're back to normal. Now we can turn our compressor on. And this is the sound of the compressed audio in the AVerMedia software. So there you go, compression. We got a limiter, somewhat helpful. And then EQ, let's turn these off. Compressor off. Compressor's now off. Limiter off. Limiter's now off. Limiter and clip shield, eh? EQ, let's turn that on. We've got bright and bassy as the first setting here. Now we're going to go down to mid-range boost. Now we've got a nice nasally tone. Gotta love that. Deep bass boost incoming. Pump that bass. Pump that bass. Pump the jam. Pump it up. Pump that bass. Yeah. Now we've got a presence. That sounds awful. We can go into advanced and we have a graphic EQ. So we can change all that around. We can also see what the presence boost is made up of here. Just like the deep bass boost. Big old wave of bass there. And the mid-range boost, obviously, all the mids are jacked up. And the bright and bassy is going to be V-shaped, even though it doesn't quite... In my headphones, it doesn't sound super V-shaped. Let's turn this off. But that is also because I have mic effect monitoring turned on. So I get a little bit of doubling effect where you do not. I'm getting a combination of latency-free monitoring and effect monitoring, which are layering and not making the experience so pleasant. But again, you can tick that off and you're going to hear the dry sound of the mic, but the person on the other end of the conversation, or you know, what your audience watching the pre-recorded video, they're not going to get that doubling. Just you and your monitoring, that's who's going to get the doubling. So that's why we've got up here a recording tab where I can set EQ and do some changes, and then I can hit record, and it's going to give me a 30-second timer to kind of test out the effect, and then I can hit stop and I can play record, and it's going to give me a 30-second timer to kind of test out the effect, and then I can hit stop, and it's going to give me but you can change some settings, do a quick recording, listen back, see how you like it in a cleaner environment. So there you go. That's the AVerMedia software. So yeah, that is the software that comes with it. Useful. You can fine tune and do some things with that software and just have a jolly good old time. You're going to want to find out what you like the best as far as the sound, and then use that to stream or do anything like that, because again, you're not going to hear it in real time. You got to kind of set it and forget it after doing research, which is kind of weird. With all that being said and done, let's go to the BB-SAR. I'm going to do two separate grades here. The boom arm, which I love, for $159, link in the description down below, I'm going to give this a 9. It would get a 10 if the XLR guides were a little better. I hate the plastic pieces that snap in over the XLR. Your XLR cannot be a thick, high-quality Roland Black Series cable or anything like that. You won't be able to get those little plastic pieces in very easily. So you're going to want to go with a more standard, basic XLR cable just to put in that channel and hide. If it had a better channel for that, 10. This would be absolute perfection as a boom arm. But it's a 9 because of that, which is still great. And actually my new boom arm of choice. Absolutely love this thing. Not to mention that you can angle the first part of the boom arm down and put the second part up and have an under monitor style, or up and over. You can adjust it however you want. It's just that simple, built great, no issues with it, sturdy as can be. It's a 9 all day long. The microphone, on the other hand, I actually think the microphone for a USB microphone, which I'm never a huge fan of, it actually sounds pretty decent. And not only does it sound pretty decent, the functionality of it is fine. It's got everything you want as far as USB mic right out of the box goes. You can toggle back and forth between computer, monitor, playback, headphones, all that good stuff. You got a gain knob on it. These are all good things. You've got a yoke mount. It's all metal. Everything is good there. The headphone monitoring is fine. It's powering my Sennheiser headphones fine. Of course, they're 32 ohms, so big deal. But it also sounds pretty clean. It's not a bad sounding headphone preamp at all. And kind of a double-edged sword on the software. The software works well enough if you find the sound you like and just keep it set. But the idea that you can't hear that software in your headphones is a little iffy. And the software does have like half good functionality, half goofy stuff, but at least it's there. So I'd rather have it than not have it. But at the same time, I wish you could hear in real time how those effects sound through latency-free monitoring. Alas, you cannot. You have to listen after setting stuff. That's what that whole record for 30-second button is in playback. Kind of convenient there, but they kind of have to throw that in so you can fine-tune your sound and then save it as a preset or whatever. So the microphone, also $159, link down below. I'm going to give this a 7. I actually think it's good and worth buying if you are that person that's looking for a USB microphone that you can use for streaming, gaming, content creation, and you're not looking for the best, but you don't want anything that's just downright bad. I think this microphone is good. It's good. It's not great and it's not bad. It's good. It's very middle of the road as far as the sound goes, but it comes from a good company with some good support, with some software, with some nice aesthetic qualities to it. So I'd rather have this than a run-of-the-mill Amazon USB mic because there is more to it and it is technically better. But just know that if you like the sound of it and you like some of the effects that you saw, then I think it is worth $159. I think the yoke mount's good. I think if you've got a boom arm, it's very aesthetically pleasing on camera. For all those reasons, like I said, it's a 7. It is good. It's definitely worth buying. It's not mind-blowing. It's not groundbreaking, but it is a solid all-around USB mic, and it's good enough to make me take notice that it's not just another run-of-the-mill cheap one with a big brand name on it. It's actually pretty decent. That's where I'll stop that. Pretty decent indeed. Again, the boom arm, one of my favorite things I've received in the studio in quite a while. I've been looking for something that would stretch all the way over here that I could run my secondary setup off of, which I showed you earlier in the video. The AVerMedia boom arm, that's making that happen. That has made my studio a little more complete. So AVerMedia, I appreciate that. Great stuff that you sent over. Even though I think this is simply good, there's nothing wrong with good. Nothing wrong at all. There's a bunch of bad mics out there, and as long as a mic is good, what more do you want than good? Unless you're really serious about all this, and then you can go for great. I'm going to go for gone, though. I'm getting out of here. It's a little bit cold in the studio. I'm a little bit tired. I'm on vacation. I'm trying to enjoy every minute of it, but I had to bring this one to you because overall I like all this stuff. I think AVerMedia really kind of knocked it out of the park, especially aesthetically on this whole setup. It's really nice. So do with that information what you will. Obscure Mics. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.